Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another live stream here. My name is Zach. If you're new, this is Real Deal Futures. We are going to be checking out MNQ on TopstepX, trading on this fine Friday, January 31st. First, make sure you read the screen. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Nothing that I say or do here is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Your trades are your own responsibility if you decide to trade. CFTC Rule 4.41. Make sure you read that on simulated trading, which is what this is on prop accounts, even in funded prop accounts. So now that we get past that no one should trade because it's extremely risky, and I'm an idiot, not a financial advisor, not providing financial advice, let's take a look at the charts. I have a 100% clear chart here on MNQ. Going to do some full markup, start to finish with you guys. I figured we would get that done. I like to do that every once in a while. Just clear the chart, start from scratch. Good morning, and do my markup. I figured I would wait to do it. I've got a TradingView chart that's still marked up, so I don't want to lie and say I don't have a chart that's marked today, but we'll get this one marked up. So first thing, I like to come out to the daily, mark out prior day high, prior day low. You can mark that by PDL, PDH. Use the magnet tool, use a horizontal line. Nice and simple there. From that point, I like to take a look, right? What are we looking like on the daily? Let me zoom way out, just kind of remind myself that I'm on a US indice here. We are on MNQ. Stocks are going up. Then I zoom in, take a look, like what's been going on, last couple of weeks, week over week, what's been going on day over day. This is looking bullish, right, guys? We opened gap up, and we are not backing off. We are not taking our foot off the gas. This is looking very, very bullish. This looks like a big trend day Friday. I can tell you without even doing much more analysis, just looking at this chart right here, I want to be a buyer, right? I don't think that we are at a major resistance zone. I don't think we're way overextended where we're going to reverse and just absolutely sell off. Big sell off on Monday. We know what happened here. Buyers have stepped in, and all week it's been a little bit volatile back and forth, but bullish, right? And here we are at the open, cracking to the upside, nice bullish bar, overnight session bullish. We can see that just from the daily. But let's drop down to like the 30, just get a little bit more zoomed in. We can mark some additional levels. Let's jump to the hourly, right? After prior day high and low, let's get some like really wide levels above and below price. Next area above price that I'm going to be looking. I had this level marked, which is right off these lows. Next area of high volume in between this area that we're trading right now to find some potential resistance. I would throw a zone off the tops of these bad boys. Maybe catch a little bit more of that middle ground. If I zoom way out and look left, that lines up with this right here. I'm good throwing a nice wide zone like that. And then if we want to get real fun about it, I'd probably throw one more like that. And then right off the highs. Nice discretionary, simple, wide zones, not being too particular, too nitpicky, just to say, hey, we start to come around this area when I'm zoomed in a little bit on the 15. I want to be paying attention to that. We start to come lower. I'm going to throw something in between, but I'm probably going to look at the 30-minute. Down below, real obvious area is way, way, way down off these lows. Throw a wide zone like that. I would also have one here off of this area. Maybe we come down and pull something wild, but I'm not expecting us to get back down here, but just to have some zones down below, right? You want to know what's up. So let's actually go to the 15 and take a look. Yeah, this level tested multiple times that we pushed off of. That looks important to me. It also lines up with tops and bottoms all the way across this range of price action and market structure. So for me, I'd go zone right here. Again, for you guys that hopped on late, I completely cleared my chart. We're just getting some fresh markup done. I'd get I get a zone there, right? I'd be paying attention to that for sure. And then below price right now, but between here and this next zone to the upside and prior day low, I like this area, right? I like this area that's been tested multiple times, right? A lot of volume traded. Probably is going to coincide with, somebody's value area somewhere. But just looking at yesterday's session, where we chopped quite a bit and where we pushed off from overnight after breaking to the upside, this was looking really, really nice with the gap up here. This This I'm also going to mark because this is interesting. This is interesting structure. So I mean that's pretty much my basics. Again, guys, I'm not getting involved with price right off the bat. Just so you know, I know I'm doing markup 9 minutes into the open. We got 9:45 orange folder news. I'm waiting for some kind of a pullback. Pretty much the exact same setup that I've been on all week. It's the same play over and over and over again. Look to buy a dip, wait for a pullback. Like it's really boring. I tried it twice. I lost on the stream with you guys. I shared the win after the stream, which I don't like to do. I also share losses that I take after the stream. I went 0-2 after a stream earlier this week where I went no trade on the stream. But anyway, I'm looking to buy a dip. I'm looking for a pullback and continuation. This looks very bullish to me. I don't want to be a seller right here, right now. I'm not looking for a short time frame move back down. This may take off and run, like I've talked about and repeated myself. This may take off and run. The risk of not jumping in right here, right now, as we're breaking up to the upside, is that you don't catch it. We waited yesterday, right? We didn't try to catch it up here just in case it did run. Waited for a pullback. I was not aggressive enough waiting for one of my really, really deep areas to get tested. I jumped in on the way back up, and we had to come down and take me out. Tried it again, and it played out very, very nicely the second time. $900 some odd winner to end net green on the day. Net green about $700 on two accounts. So what I was getting at here is I want to mark out a couple more levels because we do have some interesting price action in market structure. Let me get the 930 candle marked. Cool. That's our 930 candle. Here is a session changeover, right? Here's our open. So where would our overnight high and low be? Again, that's the basics. That's the basics of my markup right there. I'm going to mark out overnight high and low. You can mark out like different session high and low, London's, Asia session. I'm going to go just overnight high and low for today because we have a gap to the downside, and I want to know where that starts. And it starts right there, right? Here's our session changeover. Here's the close. Here's the gap in between. VWAP line gives it away, right? Resets between this candle and this candle. So I do want to be aware of that. And I'm also just going to mark out, since we're here, overnight session high. We can label those. I've heard these called different things. They are objective. You can call it pre-market, Globex, overnight. I'm calling it overnight because for me in Eastern, it's overnight, right? We're done trading at 4:10. We got to be out of Top Step Eastern. That would be what happens overnight. So that's what I call it. But you can call it pre-market. You can call it Asia London, range, right? Yeah, so that's my markup for the day, guys. I could see a potential pullback, down into this area. That would be really sweet. I'd be looking long off these highs for sure. That's my first setup. Pull back down. I'm getting aggressively long, looking for a reaction, something that says that we're not just going to knife through, but I'd be entering long anywhere down here and looking for a pushback up. Again, higher time frame trade, right? I'm not scalping on the 1 minute chart looking for 3 points here. I'm going for a larger movement. That would give me a way to structure risk. Anywhere down in here, we could see a gnarly pullback, and that would be pretty tough to handle. But like yesterday, I'd start trying it from a reasonable level. And if I have to get taken out and try it again, I'd probably get taken out and try it again. But that's my first setup. That's my chart markup. Some other levels I've been talking about with guys and paying attention to, some stuff that that I do go back and forth on. Opening range. I don't use the 15-minute opening range on NASDAQ, but I do really like initial balance. So initial balance is the first 1 hour from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern of NYSE session, first hour. What's the high and low that gets put in? That range can be very telling for the rest of the session. There's statistics behind that range. I like those levels. If we're about to break out to the upside, specifically on a day like this, and we have some price action and market structure to the left, but not really recent stuff, something like average daily range or average session range can also be helpful. Again, objective. Those are somewhat objective because it depends on where you're getting the data from. So let's not call them objective. Let's call them discretionary. But discretionary levels based on averages of the session range, right? There's numbers, and we'll pull them from Edgeful, and I'll actually mark the chart. There's averages for how much we trade to the upside and downside over the last year, 2 years, whatever it is, in NYSE session. That can give you an idea of a potential high, a potential low. Same for the daily, right? We can use average daily range. There's statistics behind that as well. On average, what size are these daily candles? If we're pushing to one side aggressively, does it mean you want to close out? No, but you know on average, this is about how far we're getting. So it can give you a little bit of reference, give you just a little bit more reference, right? At its core, all of these levels, all this fancy stuff, they're just to frame trades, right? Just to maybe to understand maybe where we are within the chart. Price action, market structure, volume are going to be king for me. Price, man. That's it right here. The candles in the middle of the chart, that's the focus. That's why everything else is kind of light gray, muted tones. I don't like to be overwhelmed by all these levels to say, oh, we're at overnight high, long here, or, at this zone specifically, we have to do something. No, we're going to use these as frames of reference, right? But market structure, they're based on market structure. They're based on volume. And I want to pay attention to that thing first, right? I don't need to pay attention to the derivative as much. So it's important to note that. You don't need all this, this on your chart. This is a lot marked up, right? You can see it within structure. It's pretty damn obvious. This is an important level, right? Look at how many times this is tested. We got a line here. Okay, great. It helps us out a little bit. Right down here, do we need this zone? No, probably not. We pull back down, sweep below these lows here, which are prior day's high. Down into this level where we were tested multiple times over the last couple sessions. Maybe that's an area you pay attention to. So there's nothing magical. It's just discretionary zone. Discretionary meaning like that doesn't matter to me so much. I'm just going to be paying attention as we get down there. So that's chart markup. Looking at order flow on the side. The only other hidden tool that I have is Bookmap. We'll take a look at that one together. I am a partner for Bookmap. Happy to give you guys the link. It's below. You can check it out. It's a paid order flow software. You're able to see live liquidity in the market. You're able to see where resting orders are on the book. You can see we have some above here. This looks crazy complicated. I take a stupidly simple, dumb, idiot guy approach to Bookmap. I literally am just looking for big stacks of orders on the book above and below price. That's it. There's a million different things you can utilize. One of the other cool features that I like is the audible alerts for high volume traded. I think it's really, really cool. You can do that. All of a sudden, if price starts selling off, you can have audible alerts where this thing starts yelling at you, telling you how many lots are being traded, or high volume, being traded to the upside, sweeps, that type of stuff. So right now, only thing that I'd be paying attention to is to the upside. Big obvious round number, 21,900. You could say on a day today, you don't need Bookmap to tell you that we're going to have a lot of orders on 900, and I agree with you. But big level up there. We got multiple orders actually stacked. Looks like some starting at the 95-ish area, 94, all the way up to the 900s. So if we start to crack to the upside, I think that's a really, really easy target. Again, I'm going to play this from a higher time frame view, right? And I do, like I was talking about yesterday and the day before, I still find Bookmap very helpful, but I'd say it's probably more helpful if you're really zoomed in and getting involved quickly. Yeah, this looks like we want to push to the upside. So run that on the side, take a look at what's happening. Man, I will say this, where I was very comfortable waiting yesterday, even as we broke to the upside right here, and I was comfortable waiting the day before, I don't know that we get a pullback today. Why? You might say why. Well, this was choppy, and a lot of decision was being made. We made the decision to not accept lower prices, not continue, at least for right here, right now, to the downside, and to bang against this resistance zone that we formed multiple times. Overnight session, we cracked to the upside through Asia, stayed all the way heavy buy side through London, and now we're pushing right at the open to the upside. I don't know that we need to trade this area out again. I don't know that we need to pull back down, and this just gut feeling, right? I'm not always going to act on that, and it's hard to structure risk if it's not there, but gut feeling, like we may not pull back, and we may just start to push to the upside, and getting involved first and trying a low risk trade with a stop just below, this 915 candle could definitely be a play. could definitely be a good play. And I'm tempted to do it with you guys early this morning. Again, because I think we run to 900s, and that's not a bad setup. But this market is just looking very strong, right? We we're about to completely have erased this move to the downside on Monday and just have a nice green day. I mean, we started off with a horrible, harsh sell-off, and it hasn't been an immediate correction, but buyers have been taking this thing higher on the U.S. indices. So again, here today on Friday, sure, we could just chop around. We can kind of crack to the upside and really not do anything, have a kind of uneventful Friday. But this looks like we could just have the trend day Friday. We could have the drift higher. So it's not massively strong off the open, but I'm pointing that out, that I think this definitely could be a session where if you're not jumping in quickly, buying this breakout, which is dangerous, you may miss it. Again, why do you not want to do that maybe? Here's exactly where we were at 9:50 a.m. yesterday. Take a quick look. Strong, right? Strong overnight, a little bit choppy. Right here would be the repeat. This would be buying here with a stop loss down below here. You'd get smoked. Immediate sell-off. So a lot of times I'm cautious of this happening, right? I was not sold on it yesterday nearly as much as I am today. But I'm not going to take it, right? I'm going to go for a larger trade, something I'm going to hold for longer. Right up to the 900s to grab these first couple sets of orders. Not a bad play if you wanted to try something like that. But it's not my setup. There's definitely a trade, something like this. You could say, hey, I'm just going to wait for maybe just a couple more points, like right here, right now, like we're getting. Entry right here. Quick trade up to the 900 level, maybe a crack above. Stop loss real tight, right below prior day's high, saying, hey, we have to come down and check this out again. I'm out. I don't like this. I think we can easily chop around. It's just volatile in the open, right? And you can absolutely trade momentum, really zoomed in. I'm sure there's, other channels doing that right now. I'm going for that larger move. I want to be here for the open. I want to mark my charts up, be ready to roll, because a lot of times the setup does come. But I do like to be patient. First 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes off the open, like we're hanging out for right now. Let this market do whatever it's going to do, fake everybody out to the upside and downside, pull this crap like it did yesterday, and then get the setup. But again, like if I had to take a trade right here, right now, I'm long, stop somewhere down below these lows. It just feels very strong, and we didn't pull back all night. We chopped a little bit, but we cracked right at the open. I don't know that we come and fill this. I don't. There's a statistic around this getting closed out, this gap up. I don't know that we fill this. This just feels very strong. This feels like one that we maybe leave open. It's small, but I don't think so. No. Anyway, gonna wait to see. We're about to close this bad boy out right here. There we go. Gonna wait to see again. Like I said, initial idea is wait for whatever happens here, just like yesterday. I'm not gonna wait for as aggressive as a pullback. Somewhere down around these lows, I would take it just after a sweep of these lows right down here. I think something like that would be fine. I'd be looking long. All the way down to this level would be okay for me for a really, really aggressive pullback, but I would take it long down here somewhere with a wide stop loss, really wide. But again, my gut tells me breakout and just not looking back, kind of Friday grind to the upside, difficult to find your way in. This is not a terrible way to structure risk for a first trade right down below here, but not enough for me to take it. Not enough for me to put risk on the line. So sit tight, watch the open here. Appreciate you guys hopping on. A lot of the same names on here. You guys are awesome. Feel free, hit like, help me out, smash the like button. You don't have to do anything. Free means free. I'm going to be here with you guys every day, or almost every day, trading for free. If you're not in the free community, hop in the 100% free trading Discord. Be more than happy to have you there. I'll throw that link in the chat, but it is down below. And if you trade with prop firms, check out all the discounts. You trade with Take Profit, Tradeify, any of the other smaller ones that are running Project X. I got a link for you. Same with the trading softwares I use. You want to check out Edgeful, you want to check out Bookmap. Links are down below. Strong, man. Strong. Again, I like to speculate, just kind of give the idea, and I can go back on. I'm live here. It's recorded. Go back and say, you know, here's what I was thinking. How accurate is my intuition? This feels like the push that we're not going to get a pullback on, but you know, we're going to get more structure if we crack really high. So let's talk about it. If that intuition is serving me correct, that we break out and we have an opportunity to enter here, and you know, here we are pushing off already. If we break out like this and we really don't let our foot off the gas, we start to trade, you know, through the 900s, maybe towards the 950s, I wouldn't look for as aggressive as a pullback, right? I'm going to look to enter on a pullback, you know, somewhere near overnight highs, near prior day's high, you know, near the middle of the session that forms for continuation. But again, that may not come. This feels like the Friday rally, feels very strong. So again, I'm going to look for a way in on a shallower pullback if this, you know, holds up. But I'm not by the breakout at 9:30 a.m. That's just not my play. Let's see, we got through the 9:45 a.m. news. Yeah, a lot of inflation. A lot of inflation. A lot of companies reported earnings. A lot of earnings that were done. So you know, this could be that we're through all that uncertainty. Prices accepting the move to the upside. You know, everybody's happy getting in, and market participants are going to say we want to position long. Double checking we don't have anything else crazy coming up today. No, Chicago PMI. Chevron earnings at 11. Canadian budget. Yeah, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Our 8:30 news came in. Price liked that, so this looks strong. This looks strong. Let's see if we can find a way in. Again, nothing up here for me is going to call for a reversal. I think maybe we find sellers up near this level that we're hitting right now, right? Up near this area. But on a day like this and a week like this, I don't really want to be a seller. Try to stay flexible, not form too strong of a bias, but higher time frame, I do pay attention to that. I get to watch the trading day play out over and over and over, and I'm not so zoomed in, at least for how I've been trading the last few weeks. A little more zoomed out, hanging out with you guys on the 5-minute to 15, not looking at the 100 tick like a dang degenerate. Cool. Yeah, again, I'd wait for. I got 2 plays on this, kind of like what I took yesterday. That didn't work so nice for me, which was a pushback up after a pullback. I'd prefer to just take it low, but this looks very strong, and if I don't get it and we just continue to push, I may try it. I may try it without a really, really big pullback. Might just go lower risk, you know, couple of micros. But you'll see it here because I'm live straight from the platform, right? Straight from the platform. No hidden executions, no saying I did something that I didn't do. You're gonna watch me take L's like you watched yesterday. Yeah, for those that hopped on late, what's up, guys? Looking for some kind of pullback into this zone. Would love a sweep down below here. Don't know that we're going to get that. Would love to see VWAP retested and then a continuation of the upside. Anything like this, really all the way down to this overnight low level. Anything like this, I'm happy to get long. Don't really want to take it off these right here. If I wanted to take it, we had an opportunity there. But this may just be a grind. This may be a grind. I'm going to wait for the market to do its frustrating, take everybody out that got long here by coming back down. That's going to be my play. And risk missing the move to the upside. Again, looking at yesterday, right? This is why, for me, I find not just jumping in really quick right off the open is a good thing. This was our move yesterday. Here's 9:45 a.m., 5-minute candle. Here's 9:50, right? We're at 9:59 a.m. We were, pushing up after session close, a little bit choppy, but, testing a resistance zone. We blast above that. How many people do you think got long up here, right? And then here's the stop out. Here's the stop out. I tried it long and got stopped out, from way lower, but this is a gnarly move to get involved in, right? Like immediate sell-off, and that's the risk you run. Now, we might not see this today, and I don't think that we are. I think we're just going to push off and go. But if you go through, you back test, you watch the market, we're very volatile at the open. And getting involved in the first, couple candles, a couple 5-minute candles, it can be a little bit dicey. Again, today, like I said at the start of this, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to just take the breakout to the upside, but here we are headed towards 900s. Had a feeling that we might try to just break and run. This market is very strong. We blasted against this zone multiple times, broke it in overnight, strong above VWAP, buyers not backing off at all, strong at the open. Long bias, I'm just looking to find my way into something that can make sense, where I can structure risk. That's my thoughts. But this was your opportunity, right? We kind of did look at this. Again, not my setup, right? Not the breakout right off the bat. We had opportunity right even in here for a little bit of the crack above and retest. Stop really, really tight, like you're out if you come down, and you're trading for the 900s to be taken out. That's not a bad play. For me, if you're going to set up to take this, you're going to take this L a lot of times. And it can be tough to just, to take a capital hit right off the open. Again, like not play. I don't know that this plays out enough times to make it worth it, especially preserving physical and mental capital. So I don't love that one. But here we are pushing the upside. Where do we go from here? What am I going to look for? Same thing. The farther we push up, right? The farther we continue to the upside here, the less pullback I'm going to look for. I'm not going to look for a pullback, all the way down in here, right? Just not as likely to happen. There we go to trade out the 900s. Big volume getting traded. At least on Bookmap. Showing orders getting filled up here. There we go. 903s, 904s, 905s. Big push, man. Gnarly move at the open, man. Very, very strong market. Bulls are in town. But stay patient, see what sets up for us. That's my game plan. Like I said, willing to risk that. Missing that opportunity because, again, don't want to take those stop outs right off the open. It could be frustrating to do. $250s. fast. Go ahead and mark something else on my chart as I'm hanging with you guys, watching this market just take off. Take a look at potential session range. Just going to do this manually for now. Play with something here. Get some manual marking going. Well, let's do this. If we moved straight to the upside, which we are doing right now. Say 250 is about 255. Take a look at yeah, 1.3% is the average intraday range window. And that's 280 some odd points. Looking at average session range, right? You know, if we use Edgeful to take a look at what the average session range by weekday or intraday range is on NQ, you can get a feel for about how wide that NYSE session range is from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I don't know how exactly they would mark it. I don't know how you would mark that with an indicator. I think it would have to adjust intraday, right? Because as you push off from one spot, you know, that's the low end of your range. And if you're able to just turn from there and, you know, trade lower, that would be the high end of the range. So where that low would be adjusted up as you move up. And then, you know, one would be moving at one time. So kind of interesting to see. I guess you could do it right off the open and mark to the upside and downside what the max would be and then kind of adjust from there. But interesting to look at where we might start to see some exhaustion. That lines up with a really, really clear psychological level, 22,000, and an area that's been, you know, traded out multiple times. So right off the low of this zone. I'd like to make that about 22,000. So let's see, man. Let's see. We pull back again, guys. I'm looking long on this for, I think, obvious reasons. We are looking bullish, man. Let's go back out to the daily real quick. Just do some top-down analysis again. Quite a few lines in my chart now that I'm looking at it, but we are pushing higher, man. Big sell-off on Monday. Buyer stepped back in, pushing back to the upside. Gap up, big bullish candle. Not looking like we want to let our foot off the gas. This looks very strong. So for me, trading, you know, for a larger hold, larger move, wider stop loss, wider take profit, you know, going to allow some movement in between. I'm looking long on this generally, right? I like to wait at least for the open, maybe the first 15 minutes. Everything from the open is also telling long, right? Overnight session, bullish, cracking to the upside, cracking above this whole area that we kind of tested a few times. Strong above VWAP, pull back into pre-market. This is a pretty nice opportunity for a buy right down here, really, really aggressively. Bullish pop at the open, and so far we're just not backing off. I'm going to wait for normal price action and market structure. Pull back, away to structure risk down below for a continuation to the upside. My thesis is that we don't just turn around from here and sell off. I don't think this turns into a huge down day. Why? Based on normal price action and market structure. Can it? Absolutely. Anything can happen. President can say something, a war can break out, natural disaster, some trade deal, and we just tank. But normal price action and market structure, patterns that tend to repeat themselves, would indicate that we don't just turn and sell off harshly today. And that's why I'm looking long. So, again, on that note, waiting for a pullback. Don't know that we're going to get it. Like I said this morning, right off the bat, not a fan. I don't repeat myself, but I see people hopping on and off. So I'm not a fan of taking the breakout, right? Here's the breakout from yesterday, 9:45 a.m. Wouldn't have played too nicely. This breakout to the downside wouldn't have been bad, right? If you took that one short, but it didn't last. I'm not a fan on a higher time frame of taking the breakout. If you are trading low time frames, absolutely. Zoomed in on the 5-minute 100 tick, on the 2-minute, this gives you some opportunity, maybe really close in here to just get long as we start to break above, stop loss really tight, for a quick move to the upside. But we don't look like we want to take our foot off the gas. Again, here's kind of like your zoomed in view. Maybe you're trading the 2-minute. That's your pullback. That's all the pullback you need. And here's a trade idea for you right here, right now, right? Stop loss just below this level, continuation to the upside. Let's see how that plays. Nice positive risk to reward. Why? We are looking at a really, really zoomed in uptrend. We are pulling back and then continuing, pulling back and then continuing. If you are a trend line, bull flag type of guy, boom. There's the line being broken. You can also use maybe an anchored VWAP. You say I throw an anchored VWAP on the 1 minute. When we really get a nice strong close above, I'm getting long. There's your entry, stop loss just down below the lows, and you shoot for moves like that, right? Would have played out real nicely right here. And again, nothing wrong with this. Just simple stuff, right? You start with higher time frames. You say, well, maybe that one you have to wait for a close if that's kind of going to be a rule. Maybe it's like a strong break above. Maybe you do look at higher time frames. You do look at some top-down analysis, and then you kind of find your way in that way. Maybe you are entering on the pullback, right? Here's kind of another option. Maybe you are drawing out zones. Obviously, cherry picking is easy to do after the fact, but maybe you're drawing out zones. You say, okay, we got a really nice high. I'm going to wait for that high to be broken and then a pullback, and I'm going to enter on that pullback. There's your entry right there. Maybe you say, and I just continue doing that, right? We didn't get a pullback on this, but we got close. So maybe on the first pullback, if we hit that zone, I look to get long there, or I wait for some bullish indication at that level. Simple market structure, break and retest, playing off of the way that price moves more often than not. That's just zoomed in on a lower time frame. Guess what I'm doing out here? The exact same thing, right? Here's the move here. This is the exact same thing that I'm looking at. Breaks and retests, just a whole lot bigger, right? So there's nothing wrong with doing that on low time frames. You just better be preserving capital. Maybe give yourself more trades to take. But I'm a believer that price action, market structure, it's fractal, right? Not price action, market structure. Time frames are fractal, meaning you're just breaking down higher time frames into lower time frames, and price action and market structure forms very similarly outside of the extremes, maybe outside of like the 1 minute chart or the 1 second chart where it's just crazy gaps all over the place, or the like, the monthly, or a really, really high time frame. In between there, it's just, how fast you want to be working. The lower time frames can be a little bit more noisy, quote unquote. Hard to quantify that, but I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with trading low time frames. It's just you got to be quick. You got to be able to make very, very quick decisions, and you're typically going to be taking a higher frequency of trades. I like to combine, or at least I've been combining some higher time frame structure. I've been much more zoomed out. I really like the 5 minute and the 100 tick side by side for really aggressive trading, where I'd probably be taking buys on the way up on something like this. But I really enjoyed zooming out. It's been difficult to work with on low time frames, in my opinion. It's pretty volatile. The changes in volatility can take you out really aggressively. They can still take you out on the higher time frames, but it's been tough on low time frames. So you zoom out a little bit, put more risk on, lower frequency of trades, wait patiently for your setups to come, hold those bad boys. Like yesterday, I was holding trades for like hours and hours and hours all the way near the close. Maybe that works well. Diamond, Zach Armstrong. Yeah, I posted the diamond hands meme because I was in a trade long yesterday, holding on to it. That was funny. What's up, brother? Great trend on gold. W brother, 100 points to the upside. Nice. Yeah, again, I hope even if I'm not taking a trade, right? Even if I'm not in one specifically, I'm doing my best to point out what I'm seeing. I'm pointing out what I think, right? And it's going to be recorded here live, and we can see, how often I say I don't think we're going to pull back really aggressively when we're right here. I think we're just going to blast out and not leave any room for a pullback, but I don't have a clean way in. That's what we got going on today. The gut feeling, the intuition was speaking to me on this one. I just don't like to make that my first trade. It makes for you coming back, right? You have to have a comeback now on the day. And I just, again, while that works beautifully here, I encourage you to go back and test taking the breakout of the first, candle and or first 5 minute maybe, and see what that looks like. Even if you took it up here. Example that I keep referring to since we got everybody on here. Here's yesterday, right? Wouldn't have played too nice. Maybe you even took it earlier than that. Somehow you got in down here. Again, the risk, there's double-edged sword to everything. I like to talk about that, kind of frame both sides of it. You can be a breakout trader. You can wait for pullbacks. With breakouts, you're going to miss less opportunities, but you're not waiting for a great way to structure risk. You're not waiting for potential pullbacks that may occur. With waiting for a pullback, maybe entering more aggressively at a zone, just that type of style, you risk missing that opportunity to the upside. But maybe you don't get faked out as much. Maybe you don't get into too many choppy positions. Trade 900s. Dang, man, this thing looks like it just wants to go. This looks like it wants to go. Again, I don't have a way in. I'm going to sit here and watch it go. If it runs without me, we just grind to the upside. That's okay. Again, I'm higher time frame. I'll set some alerts, and we'll go from there. But this looks really strong, and you have to at least, I think it's helpful to say this may just go without me, and there's no mistrade here. For me, I don't have a setup here. Nothing's set up for me. I don't have a level that I'm trading off of or breaking out to the upside. Didn't get the retest really anywhere here that I'm looking for. Looking at like a 5 minute, 15 minute time frame, and I got to be okay with this thing moving. But it does look very, very strong. Looking back on the week, just to give some reference, this was my missed opportunity. This is one that I journaled. That was a missed opportunity. If you go back to, I think this was Monday? No, Tuesday. you go back to this day here. I was looking at getting long. I wanted a pullback. We swept down below these levels here. I didn't enter aggressively down here. I didn't have zone or anything marked out, and it was still pretty dicey after the sell-off. But after we pushed back up really, really aggressively, I was looking right in here, and I was kind of being picky about waiting for a pullback. I was ready to enter long somewhere right down in here, like the 90s, I think, the 80s. I'd have to go back and watch it. Really right in this area consolidation. And that was just a little bit of hesitation on my part. Technically, I had a level marked out that we didn't hit. So technically, like, you know, I can tell myself it's not a mistrade, but that's one where everything was calling long. I did have a good way to structure risk. And, you know, there was a big pullback. It was a crack through VWAP. Even here, it would still be okay with a real wide stop loss. And you can see how that one played. So, you know, something like this, I got to look back on and say, okay, when I see this again next time, you know, how can I be more ready for it? How can I be ready to take the trade? You know, that type of deal. But this so far, is, you know, nothing for me. People like to hop on after the fact, or, you know, guys will be on TopStep, right? I'll be trading on TopStep TV, or guys will be trading on TopStep, and everybody in the chat, oh, these guys are just talking, they're doing analysis, and the market's moving, the market's running. You had, you know, you could have just bought. Well, sure, but was there an entry for you? Was your system setting up? Whatever you trade, whatever your approach is, did you have a way to structure risk, or did the market just knife and you weren't a part of it? You know, you have to be okay with that trading, right? Like, I don't know, over here, like, is this a whole missed opportunity for you at 1 a.m. Eastern? Like, because, you know, you oh man, look at that, you could have just sold. I don't know. Was there a setup for you? Do you trade, you know, Sunday open into Monday? Probably not. So, you know, this happens all day. Market moves all day. There's opportunity constant. It's an endless stream. Just my 2 cents. Again, talking this out because what will happen with a lot of guys is they don't have a setup, like me right now. The market continues to move. They wait. And then eventually they just FOMO in. They say, F it. I got to get in. The market's just going to go, big bull trend. And then the market pulls back a little bit. They get stopped out. And they get frustrated. And they do it again. Or worse, they start going short. They start fighting the market. So you know what you're looking for. Know what your setup is. Wait for that. And go from there. That's going to be my message for today. Strategy testing recommended. What's up? Yeah, we got some hundreds in there. Recommended 6-month strict rule data. What I do anyways. Cool. Yeah. Back testing's good. Forward testing's good. Build confidence. Nothing wrong. Yes, looking strong. Bull. So not much NQ. Yeah. Let's look at let's get ES on a separate chart here. Looking strong. Looking strong. Dow living in its own world as usual, selling off. Gotta love Dow. But yeah, ES looking strong. Very similar structure for overnight, almost identical. Awesome. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get. Again, opportunity is up here, right? Just kind of framing trades. Consolidating. We got to sweep down below 5-minute lows. Your entry on this uptrend can be right here, right now. Again, there's not a problem with this. Just pointing out basic market structure and price action trades. You know, this is one you can take for continuation of the upside, just anticipating that if we start to pull back, that is now going to be a reversal. The market's showing that, you know, we have sellers in store, and, you know, we don't want to continue the upside. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I would just structure it as a lower time frame trade, right? I'd say it's not something I probably want to hold all day because I'm not allowing for a whole lot of movement, but I think this is going to crack right here, right now, kind of like I do. And you can start taking those trades. Nothing wrong with that, right? Why would this be a terrible move? You're consolidating. You got some structure down here. You have a decent way to structure risk, although I think you can wick down below this level. Maybe something like that is a little bit more appropriate. And you got targets to the upside. Just a continuation. For me, again, I'm looking for an entry on a pullback really aggressively because I think based on watching NQ for a long period of time, back testing, forward testing, it loves to do that. And you can take these trades, but you better be ready to get stopped out once. You better be ready to, in my humble opinion, for this to happen. Right? And that's going to be your L. And then you better be ready to take it again up here with your stop loss down below that new level. And maybe that second one works out. Maybe it doesn't and you get stopped again. But, if you're going to start taking, aggressive trades to the upside, you do want to be prepared for that, right? You do want to be prepared for that. You want to recognize, I'm not giving this thing a lot of room to breathe. I'm trading a breakout. Anything down below the most recent level of structure is going to invalidate the trade. The thesis is we're going to go from here quick. And sometimes NQ is just going to pull those wiki moves. But again, taking these trades, you don't risk the market moving without you. You don't risk, we don't pull back. We don't hit VWAP. We don't come back to overnight low here. Sellers don't take this thing lower for a moment to take everybody out long up here. So again, just kind of different styles. How quick do you want to get involved? What's your personality? Do you like holding on to trades for a long time? Do you like to be in and out? You like to either have stop loss or take profit hit quickly? What's the game plan? What do you guys think? Getting long on this? Getting long on ES? You long from up here? You looking for this thing to continue? What are you guys thinking? Looking for a pullback? Is this just a huge fake out move? We're about to see a reversal here. We're going to sell off like we did yesterday, super aggressively, and then maybe do it in the afternoon. Give me your thoughts. ES is looking bullish, so I see that one. Again, guys, hit the like button too if you're hanging out with me. Help me out. Help me figure out this YouTube algorithm. Pullback, still looking for a pullback, holding for a pullback. Yep. Took the trade off the open. Nice. Yeah, I'm looking for a pullback. I'm with you guys. Can't preface enough when backtesting on TradingView. Y'all, please enter it on candle closes. A strategy created for a year and a half. Found it to be the most profitable in actual markets. Yeah, great. It's good opinion, right? Good insights from Ryan. Appreciate you sharing, man. Wait for the candle to close. Nothing wrong with that. I think you can go either way, but I think if you are going to backtest, trade how you backtest, right? So if you're backtesting with candle closures and then you go to trade in the middle of candles, you're not following what you did in backtesting. So yeah, if you're backtesting on TradingView, you only get candle closures. If you're going to wait for that for entries, I would trade that way. So good insights. But yeah, man, waiting for this pullback. Might not come. Again, today feels like it could be the slow grind. Feels is not a good way to take trades, just blatantly off of that. But this just feels strong. I have to wait for a good way to structure risk. That's what keeps me out of trades like this, right? You could take it very aggressively from up here, and the only way you're going to get good upside, risk to reward is really tight stop. If I said, hey, I want to get long, and I'm comfortable like I am with it coming anywhere down here, and I'd still want to be long on a pullback, that makes for a horrible risk to reward, right? I'd have to be going for a massive move. And I think something moving up towards this level would be very reasonable. Blasting past that, sure, all the way up to these highs, maybe even making it a massive day to the upside, but just not a great way to structure risk. Get that measurement tool back out and look at Look at the range that I was setting. Coming up on initial balance. Let me mark that. We are about to get last level I'm going to put on this messy chart that I marked up with you guys from scratch this morning. If you guys want to see how I mark my charts up, you can go back to the beginning. Started with a clear chart here. I'm going to mark initial balance, right? The high and the low put in between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Eastern, because it is 10:30 a.m. 17 seconds. We can mark them since I've got a lot on this. IB low, and we can mark this with IB high. Why do we like these levels? Well, it's the opening range. It can give you a frame of reference to what's going on. The stats behind this. First, and most important, if we break one side, we typically do not come down to break the other side. It's like almost an 80% stats. Over 3/4 of the time that if we break this high, just based on objective data, we typically do not come down to break this low. You can also, before it actually breaks out, there's a statistic of which side is going to break first. Today it's very obvious. This one's more likely to break first than this one, but it's the side that's put in last. We put in IB low first here at 9:30. On the 10 a.m. 15-minute candle, we've got IB high. This side, by a strong statistic, is more likely to break first. So we know which side is more likely to break first. We know that if one side breaks, we're less likely to come down and break the other side. And we also know that if we extend one side, if we do break, we typically don't just sweep it. There's an average extension to the upside and downside. It typically moves outside of that by a considerable amount. Other things to think about, it's different by the day, but very, 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 very low amount of days do we not break either side. We almost always break one side or both. It's like 98% of the time. What's the actual number here? Hang on. So I got it open on the other screen. Yeah, over the last year of data, only 1.94% of the time have we not broken at one or both of the initial balance high and low. And then 79% of the time, if we break the high like this today, we don't come back down and break the low. Along with that, like I talked about, you can look at a whole bunch of different things. Let's go by performance. Over the last year of data, on average, can we view this by average extension up? Doing it in percent. On average, over the last year of data, we come outside of that initial balance high by 67 points, around 67 points. Sure, there's going to be days like today, maybe where we sweep it and come back in. There's going to be big extensions. There's a max extension over the last year. Same to the downside. But statistics behind the level, right? And this is the stuff that you would look for in backtesting. Does this mean as soon as the IB high and low is set, aim for one side and it's that probability that you're going to win a trade? No, there's a million other factors in here, right? All of the stats can fall through multiple days in a row. That's how these work. But these are objective statistics around levels. Again, same stuff that you look for in backtesting, the same style of patterns that you look for when you pay attention to certain levels. Some of them are stronger than others. Edgeful is helpful. Link is in the description of this video if you want to check it out. I think they still have the free trial. Pretty sweet. They have levels. They have stats like that for a whole bunch of different stuff. For different sessions, like if we break out to the upside of London, how often do we not come back down? Opening candle, is another cool one from them. This opening candle being green, how many times do we open on a green candle on like the 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour, and then make the day have a green close for the day? More often than not. But session is the one that I'm paying attention to. It's kind of what I'm marking with these lines up here. You can look at average session overall and then by weekday. to get a feel for how big that New York session is. Can give you an area of where you might see some exhaustion, maybe where you want to start taking some targets if you're long. I don't know that I would use it for a reversal point, but there we go. There's, like we were talking about, potential for a trade off of this level if you wanted to start getting involved here. Stop loss somewhere down below this low really aggressively. If you had a nice entry there, maybe you entered off of one of these candles closing with long wicks to the downside, you'd be hitting a 1-to-1. Again, looking for a pullback, looking for a higher time frame trade here. And again, just not sure that we get it today. Not sure that we get it. Brian, what's up, brother? Yeah, Brian's the man with some, he's got some algorithms pulling average session range and average daily range. That can be interesting to look at. Yep, Brian, I'm comparing against the two actual reports in Edgeful that I'm looking at are called Intraday Range Window, and I have it marked on NQ for the last year of data just for New York session. And then also session range by weekday. So I'm looking at NQ session range by weekday as well. You can look at specifically New York session range. What's the average? And again, how to mark that? I'm a little bit interested because I think you have to kind of move it as you go, right? Because you're marking a range, and as the range continues to form throughout the session, where the low and the high on average would be are going to change. I think it can be helpful because to the upside, at least for me, the way that, and maybe I'm thinking about this in a stupid way, to the upside, right? Like you have a low and you start pushing one way, you know that from that low to the high, if that's how you're going to move on the day, that's your average, session range. You can continue to drag the low point up to the bottom of the open if that's what's going to happen, like today. Because from the top, you could say, okay, well, if we turn around from here, where would we most likely stop based on, the session low? And that's creeping up right now as we push higher. It's like in the middle of the zone now. But yeah, man, throw them in Discord. We'll take a look. If you guys aren't in Discord while we're talking about it, feel free, hop in. Free trading Discord. Over 1,400 members. We got more people joining every day. I think we're at see, man, I had like a dozen people join yesterday. Welcome, man. Welcome. Got people joining every hour. It's great. 1,448 members. Appreciate you guys. Everybody sharing ideas. Sharing trade info, charts, data, what works for them, what doesn't work for them, wins, losses. It's awesome. It's awesome to have a community. There we go, Brian. Taking a look at that. Taking a peek at Bookmap. Big levels up at 1950. Big level up at 950. Above price. Cracked IB high. This again, everything calling long. I'm just not finding my way in. Really aggressive off the open down here would have been sweet. Hindsight Capital. The guys at Hindsight Capital say buying the breakout today would have worked really good. They also say buying it yesterday would not have worked really good. Consolidation and then a push to the upside, like we talked about, right? Potential here. Maybe you're trading like, lower time frame. You're just looking for like flags, bear flags. You're taking trend lines or path, and you're kind of just drawing out lines like this. That type of deal. You're waiting for breaks above, like we talked about. Maybe you are waiting for pullbacks to highs, like I am, and you're just not getting anything. That was an opportunity right there, right? Here's your high. You come up, break that high. Where's the pullback down to it? Right there. Beautiful. Maybe you are running high of day anchored VWAPs, right? We're on the 1 minute here. When we start to come, after we pull back, we start to come above and close above that high of day anchored VWAP, you know, you could look long. It's a nice setup. Over here would have got a little bit dicey. Probably get long right there. Have to survive a little bit of chop. But that would have played nicely all day as well. Again, just ways to find your way into a really, really strong uptrend, you know, if that's the play. Yeah, this is just the move taking place, and unfortunately not in on it. Nice. So I'm looking at what, just looking at some levels that I got my boy from the Discord sending over. Yeah, so I'm close with this. I'm close with this. And again, I'm using like a rough number of 250. Ooh, it's putting session range high up here. Gotcha. Gotcha. 21. Just look to the downside. It's pulling session range. Average daily range way low. Yep. And session low, 21,619. Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, so it's got a little bit wider of a range than I'm looking at, which is fair. I'll have to compare against it. But appreciate you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, man, no pullback on this. Strong move off the open. Really, really bullish. I don't know that this presents a nice setup for me, which is okay. It might be an into the afternoon move like I've been doing. Just starting to frame that idea an hour into this session with no trade. Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Let me show you what I'm looking at real quick. See if you guys can see this. I looked at these a little bit more when I was on ES, and I was really going through a lot of different stuff from Edgeful. But since we're really cracking outside of ranges, and we are moving a lot more, obviously on higher time frames that I'm looking at, this stuff can come into play a little bit more. Intraday range on NQ, and then session range by weekday. So you get an intraday range for New York session for the last 1 year. It gives you it in a percent, 1.3%. If I look for the last 6 months, probably a little bit more relevant, right? 1.41%. That's a little bit wider. If I look for the last month, 1.37. So let's call it like 1.4. 1.4% up or down is going to be, 300 ticks. So if I just based off that, I am tight. As I'm looking at 250. I'm also looking at this one. Session range by weekday. Looking at Friday showing 260 for New York. But what do we say that was? 1.3, 1.4. Yeah, let's call it like 300 point range. If I start adjusting coming off the low, here's kind of my thought process, right? Here's our 930 open. Oh, gotta zoom out. Here's our 300 points to the upside. Close. I don't want to be super exact with it. And yeah, that puts like the session high that I'm grabbing from that data around 64. And we got 85, right? 2285. So pretty damn close. I'm going to leave that there. And then to the downside, here's how I would be measuring it and why I think that thing moves and is dynamic. As this comes up, right, as we're pushing higher in the session, that potential low would be coming up, at least the way that I'm thinking of it. But if it's 300, around 300 points, you know, if we turned on a dime from here, what would be an average low of this session? 39 and 639, and you got 619. So, yeah, close. I'm probably just going to keep an eye on it and just play around, mark the levels a little bit, see how we react if we reach that, you know, kind of how that goes. But yeah, framing out these trades. Yeah, let me actually mark this. Framing out a trade idea for this, guys. I really don't want to be a seller in this market. Bullish. Very, very bullish. We have approached a level. It's been tested multiple times, right? We are closing up this move from Monday, the overnight open. I could see a potential pullback from here and a move long. I'm not sure though. Like I said off the open, this feels like a day where I don't have a way in. I'm not going to buy the breakout, but we just break and we don't pull back. That's what we got, right? You know, here was our open. We cracked to the upside. And, you know, from the low, whoa, why am I not able to grab? There we go. You know, from the low, we're pushing upwards of 200 points to the upside. I really don't like any of these areas for a reversal. It's not something that I would want to hold on to for a long time. I could certainly see the potential for a pullback at some point as we come up higher and higher and get more and more extended. But this just looks like strength into Friday where decisions are made. Decisions have been made this week. We have data that's came out, right? The Fed's spoken. This is kind of just the little fundamental piece that I think about, the super general. We don't have a lot of big news events coming up, right? Like today. And we're showing strength in market structure and price action all the way through overnight and through this open. So I don't want to structure myself as a seller. To find a buy gets more and more difficult, right? The chance of a really deep pullback actually being a pullback in continuation starts to diminish. You know, I think if we pulled all the way back and got way down here, sure, we're probably going to bounce. But now I don't think this is a pullback in the uptrend, right? We're breaking structure, we're breaking to the downside. I'm going to be looking for a pullback somewhere within this area near VWAP, some aggressive selling to take place, and then be aggressively entering long. That might not come at all today, like we talked about. Might not get that, but that's what I'm waiting for. Some form of a pullback to look long. If we start to hesitate, here's an area, like here's a situation where I probably wouldn't do that. If we start to hesitate here at some point, you know, we kind of come lower, we sweep highs, then we come lower again. You know, this looks less like a pullback and it looks more like a reversal, right? We start to get that type of structure on the 5-minute, the 15. You know, that's pretty ugly, but I'd be a little bit more cautious, right? I'd be looking for the initial pullback and then wait for some type of hesitation, just a hair of selling to die out, and then a buy into strength. Potentially really aggressively on selling pressure. We start to hesitate and shop and come back down lower. I don't like it as much. We absolutely knife through everything. Maybe I get caught on the long side and have to take the stop out, but hopefully I save myself that. But that's my initial plan. I don't see myself taking shorts on this. Don't see myself taking shorts on this. Diamond's going to go short. Send it, brother. Send it. The 21,920, the 21,921 and a half is IB high, initial balance high, coming off of this candle right here before 10:30 a.m. Make sure I have that in the right spot. Yeah, here's our high put in before 10:30. Initial balance high, broken to the upside. Strong stat that we do not come back down. and break 21,764. Very strong. So long is the play. Again, just not enough. Not enough on these. Buyers letting this thing come lower. Again, I'm gonna wait for the tough move that gets everybody out in the middle of the day that may not come, and to get long on this. That's my game plan. So I'll probably just be hanging with you guys. I don't see myself getting a long trade in. Again, didn't take it off the open. That was best opportunity if you wanted to start trying it. But I'm okay with that. Saving myself from the breakout stop outs that come. If you guys got questions, trading questions, man, market questions, let me know. Questions about levels. If you go back to the beginning, I started with a fresh chart, marked up my couple discretionary levels that I like to pay attention to. I got overnight high and low on this chart, which I don't always have, just giving a little bit of structure since we were so bullish, right? I think it can be kind of deceiving if you don't have that, to know that, like, you know, here's your low way down here. Here's your prior day's high. You know, look at how high above all this we are. So sometimes a little bit of extra structure on there helps. Strong, man. NQ strong arm to the upside. Really strong. Yeah. Again, appreciate you guys being here, man. Feel free, hit like, hit subscribe, smash the like button. If you trade with prop firms, check out the links down below. You trade with somebody outside of TopStep. Tradeify, Take Profit Trader. You could use code RDF. You could use the links down below if you want to check out Bookmap. Edgeful, the stats that we're talking about, got links down below for that, either discounts or free trials, all that fun stuff. But you don't have to do anything, man. Free means free. You could just hit subscribe if you want, or not even that. I'll be here free on YouTube, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, showing you what trading looks like for me. I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. Far from it. But I will show you what real trading looks like for me. Show you how I do what I do and why I do what I do. Yeah, checking out this strong market, man. Strong market. Where we go from here, man? It just looks like up on higher time frames. Take a look at ES. Looking really strong as well on the 15-minute. Pushing highs. Here's our 9:30 open. Crack to the upside. Dow kind of living in its own world. Kind of living in its own world. Here's the 9:30 open on Dow. Selling off. Continuing to test lows, not ripping to the upside. Similar structure overnight with a crack to the upside, little pullback, and then continuation. ES looking very strong, very similar structure, right? Here's your move at the open, or session changeover rather. Here's our open. Dow just happy to be, Dow living in its own world. Dow definitely just happy to be here. Dow was a fun one to trade. I used to trade Dow quite a bit, and I even came back to playing with it a little bit at the open. I actually traded US 30 more than anything in CFDs before I came over to futures. Yeah, I don't find it super helpful to pay attention to ES and NQ when I'm looking at Dow. I think it's its own monster to a degree, but it has some really, really, really nice, repeatable movements near the open. It loves to trade back to VWAP. It just absolutely loves to do this. Just go back through, take a look at when Dow opens at VWAP and moves away, how often it comes back. And when it opens away from VWAP to the upside or downside, watch how quickly it comes back to VWAP. You could frame an entire trading strategy just off of that, in my opinion. It does a quick mean reversion type move. Not always, but enough time to be dangerous. Enough times to be dangerous. And if you wait for it to be an ideal risk structure, it can be a simple play. Really simple, powerful play. Strong market, man. Again, if you hopped on late, I did not take a breakout to the upside here. Waited for that. Again, just not the way that I'm trading NQ these days. Did not get a pullback. Was waiting on some type of a nice pullback down into this overnight session range, maybe down towards prior day's high. We definitely didn't get that. We blasted off. No real sizable pullbacks looking at the 5-minute and the 15. Little bit of consolidation here, like we talked about, framing a trade. Maybe, again, if you're very, very aggressive within the first 10, 15 minutes of the open, you're taking that breakout to the upside. I don't love that most days. I don't think it plays too nicely with you. Maybe you wait for some consolidation like this. You say, I'm looking long. Higher time frames are looking up. I want to be a buyer. And you find your way in really aggressively, right? Frame that trade out as this was setting up earlier. You look for something like this. And, maybe you don't hold it for as long. You say, I'm just going to try to grab a 1-to-1 or a little over 1-to-1 up to like the 950 area because I think we're going to trade that out. And that's your setup. But this is just the push higher with not a lot of room pulling back. So I don't know that I get one on here, guys. I think that's where I'm at. I'm not looking to be a seller off these highs. I think you'd be jumping in front of a hell of a freight train. Sure, you could start taking cheap trades, but that's a tough move. I think especially below this 22,000 level. This big round psychological number that coincides with price action looking left. That's what I'd be looking at today. 950, we're definitely at a level here, but I'm interested to see what happens if and when we get up around this level. Do we get a pullback that provides an entry for a buy? Do we aggressively sell off? Do we not want to get broken above this? What kind of happens as we start to creep up higher? That's what I'm looking at. But I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to leave this stream running. I'm going to let my chair trade for me. Be right back. Back in action with you guys. Let's see, how did my chair do? Chair, man, you missed the whole move to the upside. It's terrible, dude. I'm gonna have to get a new chair. Yeah, this thing is gnarly. Yeah, not a missed entry, not a missed setup. Didn't really have anything, but felt this one. Felt this one off the open. This looked very, very strong. Feeling doesn't get you paid. Feeling without acting doesn't get you paid. So I will definitely say that as I start talking. But this looked really, really strong. Crack to the upside and then no pullback, continuation, and just a blast off at the open. This felt strong also, and that's why I don't take that breakout on that, that first couple candles. Wait for some form of a pullback. This thing just does not give it today. Your options are to drop to a lower time frame, find your way in, structure your risk. Maybe have to take the same trade once, twice, 3 times if that's in your playbook. But it hasn't been for me. These markets have been volatile. I've really enjoyed zooming out. I've had some better results. Nice calm trading, more stress-free trading, capturing larger moves, challenging myself to also trade along with my data, right? What is my data showing me? Longer holds are better. Structure my trades in a way that allows me to hold my trades for much longer. And jumping in really tight stop loss. I'm taking profit quick, and I'm still watching the market move. So I don't know that I get one on here. I'm gonna watch it for a little bit longer just to see if any volatility starts to come in. We just cracked over that 11 o'clock time frame. Typically, we continue to see we see some more volatility come in. Here it is to the upside. Just buyers continuing to drive this thing higher. Bookmap chair sold. Yeah, chair. Thank goodness chair didn't sell. Looking at Bookmap, we had those 950s fill. Let's take a look together. Obvious level, right? Without looking at Bookmap, 22,000. We got orders sitting up here. Up above that, we don't have a whole lot stacked. Down below, 49 at 919. It's not a major level, the 920s. But this would be the next area. I'm interested to see what happens up here. If you were gonna short this market, I think around a big psychological number like this in this NQ contract could be your area. Maybe the 950s right here, right now, is it for you? I don't know about that. 19, yeah, right down at IB high. We got some orders sitting there. But yeah, looking short on this, maybe somewhere way up here, you decide to start taking the cheap short. You think we're just going to drift lower on the day. You think we're going to see a reversal, or you're just going to go for the quick bounce play, right around this level. I think if we make it up here, we definitely see some volatility, potential for some, quick wicks to the downside, even if we're just going to continue to the upside. But this would be a tough one. This would be a tough one. For me, I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. No trade, just did not get the pullback that we wanted. Repeated that more times than repeated pullback more times than I would have liked. I'm gonna watch what happens up here. TradingView alert's gonna get set at 22,000. I'm also gonna set some down below IB high, down into this area, right? I like this as a potential area for a pullback. Maybe give us a way to structure risk. I'd like to see if we see any aggressive selling into this and then buying right back up. I would like to get long. I'd like to find a way in long. So I'm going to start setting some alerts around let's say the 870s, 880s, just to get a heads up. Might be looking long if we crack down to that level, just for a continuation of the upside. Really don't want to stand in front of this thing and be a seller. It's aggressive, but I would consider it off of after we've really pushed to the upside. We have just such a big extension. I would consider it somewhere up around the 22,000 level. So that's what I'm looking at into the afternoon. I got a handful of meetings again today. I don't know that I'm going to call out trades. If I do, I'll alert you guys. hop in the free Discord. Throw it in chat one more time for you guys that are hanging out with me on here. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being on. It would be really boring if I was here by myself talking to my screen alone. So appreciate you guys being on. If you are looking for a 100% free community, there it is in the chat. Trading live every day. Letting you guys know exactly. I don't gatekeep anything, right? You could ask me whatever you like on here. The levels I have in my chart. You watch me trade. You watch how I structure risk. You watch how I manage my trades. You get all that stuff for free. And if you find that valuable, if that maybe helps you in your trading journey, then I am very happy about that. Yeah, that's my game plan. Watching what happens up here, maybe. That's aggressive. Probably not that. And if I do, low risk. That's really what I would like to see. I would have liked to see it already. We've already moved so much. We get a gnarly sell-off. That could be the start of the reversal. I don't know that we reversed today, but waiting for a pullback all day. Sometimes what happens is by the time you get the pullback, market's selling off and you jump in front of sellers. But that's what I'm looking at coming into the afternoon. Like I talk about on these sessions, if I don't get a trade, in the hour and a half, 2 hours, try to stay on here about 2 hours, I'll frame it for you guys. I'll let you know exactly what I'm looking at. I'm setting TradingView alerts, down near VWAP, definitely setting one for VWAP. If we come down here, I'm jumping right back on to take a quick look, what's going on, and maybe look for a buy. We come up to 22,000. I'm going to give it a second to breathe, watch what happens up here. If you were looking short, I think that would be, somewhere maybe farther up into the 25s. Would be a potential area to do that. Again, just based off on market structure and price action. I think we can see some kind of reaction as we come up here. Big round psychological number. NQ likes to get wild around those. So, on that note, guys, appreciate you being here. Feel free to subscribe for next time so you can chat. Hop in the free Discord. I hope to see you next week. I'll be live here again, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Maybe we'll get a couple more trades on. Had a couple good ones this week, a couple no trade sessions, but good conversations, good framing trades, man. Talking about the markets. So, talk to you guys soon. Thanks again for being here. Trade well. Have an awesome weekend. Get outside and touch some grass. Be easy. Talk to you guys later.